The letter. April went by, and then May and June. We hunted and fished and waited for a letter from Daddy. Nothing came. Then in July, the post rider came with a letter for us. It said, "Dear boys, I have found fine free land near Solomon City. There is wood here to build a house and good black dirt for growing corn and beans. There is a map with this letter. The map shows where I am and where you are. Follow the map. Stay close to the Solomon River until you come to the deer trail. You will find me. I know you can do it because you are my fine big boys. Love to you all, Daddy." We started out the next day. We piled cornbread and blankets into little brother's wagon until there was no room for little brother. "Can you walk like a big boy?" I asked him. He nodded. All of Nicodemus came out to say goodbye. The Hills, the Hickmans, the Sadlers. They said, "Poor babies, going 150 miles all by themselves." But we knew we could do it. Our daddy had told us so. We went to the river and followed the map. We walked all day. When little brother got tired, I carried him. At night, we stopped and made a fire. I told Willie, "We will take turns. First, I will watch the fire and you sleep. Fire the gun sometimes. It will scare wild animals away." There was plenty of wild animals on the prairie. Wolves, panthers, coyotes. Each night our fire and the sound of the gun kept them away. But one night I heard Willie call to me, "Johnny, wake up, but don't move." I opened my eyes. There on the ground next to me was a big prairie rattlesnake. It was warming itself by the fire. I didn't move. I didn't breathe, for fear it would bite me. "What shall we do?" Willie whispered. I tried to think what Daddy would do. Then I remembered Daddy once told me that snakes like warm places. I said to Willie, "Let the fire go out." It seemed like hours we were there. Willie, little brother, and me staying so still. At last the fire went out. The night air got chilly. The snake moved away into the darkness. For 22 days we followed the river. Then one day we came to a deer trail. It led away from the river, just like on the map. "This way," I told my brothers. We walked along the trail. It led up a hill. On the side of the hill we saw a little house with a garden in front. We could see corn growing. A man came out of the house. When he saw us, he began to run toward us. "Daddy, Willie, Johnny, little brother." And there was such hugging and kissing and talking and crying and laughing and singing that I bet they heard us all the way back to Nicodemus. And old Mrs. Sadler must have said, "Sounds like the Muldie boys have found their daddy." Behind this story, Wagon Wheels is based on a true story. In 1878, Ed Muldie and his family left Kentucky to go to Kansas. They had heard about the Homestead Act, which promised free land to anyone who was willing to settle the West. The Muldies were among the thousands of black pioneers who left the South after the Civil War. Many of them, like the Muldies, settled in Kansas, the town of Nicodemus, which was named for a famous slave, was a black community. The three boys in the story really did stay alone in a dugout, and they did travel 150 miles by themselves to find their father. The incident with the Osage Indians actually happened in Nicodemus Colony, and prairie fires were common in the whole Kansas territory. The Muldie boys' story is documented in the memoirs of the late Lulu Sadler Craig, who came to Nicodemus as a child and spent much of her life teaching school and collecting information on the town's history. The material on which this book is based was used through a special arrangement with Craig Levy and the other members of Mrs. Craig's family.